Welcome to another episode of Marketing 101 for Chiropractors, where we keep you ahead of the curve, attracting more new patients and growing your business. Now, here's your host, Dr. D himself.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Marketing 101. Thanks for joining us this week. We got a really cool guest, Scott Desgrosseilliers from Wicked Reports. Thanks for being here. Tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Sure. So Wicked Reports is a marketing attribution platform, and that means we have software that determines credit for your marketing to help advise you on where you're wasting money, or hopefully more optimistically, where you're making money and should scale your ad spend. So it seems straightforward, but there's actually a lot of intricacies to it. However, we can get into some of the specific use cases for chiropractors and offices with you today. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Yeah, it was so cool when you or your team reached out to me and I read your LinkedIn. I was like, this is a cool one, because that's all you do is you look at the analytics and you're in the background of all this. And as entrepreneurs, we're just at the front. You know what we're looking for. We're looking for a new patient, and whichever way we can get it, that's what we want to do. And I find we cheat and run around corners, try to do it ourselves, or maybe hire different people. But yeah, I like what you're going to do here. And I mean, this is going to be a great dive in. So you kind of guide me with where we go with this conversation, and what are his intricate data, because again, I'm a dumb chiropractor, not that I'm dumb, but that's all I see is I run my business. I want the new patient. So I'm seeing the front of this marketing machine, and you're in the back in the engine room, making sure that all these things work and how they work. So you help me, because I don't know if I'm going to have the strongest questions for you.
Sure.
So help me out here. When we're looking at this stuff, what's front and foremost for you when you're looking at marketing?
Well, when you first, you're going to launch ads because you're like, I need new patients. So you need to know what you can afford to pay to acquire the patient. And then that involves, what I call reverse funnel math, fancy way of saying you work back from the outcome you want to get. So you look at your average patient value to start. And you can't look at the lifetime value, because you can't just say, oh, I have a patient for 5 years, I can spend this amount of money based on 5 years. You want to get an ROI payback quicker. So let's say you look at your average patient value over 6 months. And I don't know, what would be an average chiropractor value for 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, let's keep the math simple. It's typically around 2,000 for most successful chiropractors, but let's use 1,000 for like the 3-month return of a patient that comes in, for an acute injury for whatever, 12 visits on average. Let's just say $1,000 to keep the math simple on this. Let's do the reverse funnel math there.
Okay, so we're going to start doing the math. Now, before we start with this 1,000, then to help build our offer, we're going to look at what makes up a typical $1,000 patient. What makes a valuable patient? So it could be, I'd probably be pretty valuable. I was like early 50s, CrossFit and pickleball, always getting injured. Seeing the chiropractor all the time. But you look at and see if there's any demographic thing or a geographic. Because of course you're in an area as a chiropractor, so geo is probably going to be just the surrounding areas. But then it could be a certain age range. I mean, I know chiropractors can do a ton of things. I've been going to them on and off for 30 years. I think it's awesome. However, you got to have an angle that speaks to specific people in your marketing. So let's say you look at $1,000 and you find a lot of pickleball injuries. Let's just use that one. Is that a common one, or could it be something else? Is it
It actually is. Yeah.
Pickleball. Okay, so you're like, okay, my $1,000 in 3 months pickleball campaign I'm going to run here. So then you look back and you say, okay, how did I first get them in? And it could have been for free consult or first adjustments discount, or maybe that's not your offer. Maybe it's just you're going to give info around most common pickleball injuries and cures. Something there before you even start getting into the math. You got to have an idea, okay, I'm going to do a unique offer for these people. So we're going to try to capture their attention. Now that you know you have $1,000, now you got to decide how much profit from marketing is going to be in those $1,000, because of course you want to spend $1 and keep $999. But you got to get something realistic in there. So let's say maybe $200, or what's like a ratio that generally for, I don't know chiropractor margins that well.
Different margins for different funnels. So if we use the Facebook, Instagram, or Meta model, we're trying to get leads in for 20. And if we're converting at about 40% for every 3 that we get, we should get one in the door. So for $60, we should get a new patient that comes in through the door and pays that, whatever the discount offer, whatever it is. For Meta, or for Google, we're probably up closer to the $100 mark for that. Just so you know,
those are great spreads. Okay, those are great spreads though. Econ, I mean, chiropractors, I'm sure there's a lot of challenges in that industry, like everyone, but those are better spreads than econ gets. So that's one thing you can say, hey, for all this work, I'm making a better spread on my marketing.
All right.
Okay, so I'll do the $100 round number, be easier. Okay, so we're going to try to get sales at $100, and then so we're going to try to get leads at, you said $20.
That's in great areas, competitive like Miami, Philadelphia, San Francisco. We're probably going to get leads at closer to 40, but yeah, 20 is really good. Let's say 30.
Okay, so then from a marketing attribution perspective, we haven't even got to that part yet. But what we want to do then is create some unique ads for unique targeting. Because otherwise they're just like, hey, come get your adjustment. No one, I mean, that's not very compelling. You've got to match the message to the pain point that the people have. And so we'll work with Meta in this example. I would create different campaigns around different targets, like one specifically for the male pickleball player. And I'd show a male pickleball player in the image and maybe wincing or something. And it'd be around, are you suffering, because everyone gets that elbow issue. Are you suffering, you just try different first one-line hooks around that and showing to male pickleball players 40 and older. And then you'll do a separate campaign doing the same one to females the same, even though it's the same messaging. And then the whole offer to get the lead in is get your pickleball injury tune-up or whatever you're going to brand it, but something around, again, pickleball, pain, and however you're going to fix it. Because then you have resonance of the message and it looks like them in the image. I mean, no one image is going to look perfectly like everyone, but at least the same sex or the same age, general area. Yeah. And so then the idea, then when you're running it, you've got a couple of metrics. Yeah, you're looking at your cost per lead and your cost per sale. But then as they accrue revenue for the different points, what we do is keep updating the amount that ad actually made instead of using, because that $1,000's a ballpark. It could be that the women come in and spend $1,500 and the guys are like $300. Or it could be that the pickleball injuries versus the CrossFit injury, it turns out CrossFit, way more lucrative. People hurt themselves on the deadlift all the time, which I would get in for the deadlift like 3 times. So you might want to be like, oh, okay, it turns out the deadlift people are worth $3,000. Let's use a deadlift person and someone doing the deadlift and wincing in the creative. Those things can make a big difference, because if I'm online and I have that pain point, you already demonstrate that you get my problem more than just, oh, I know a chiropractor can help me. That's going to potentially drive more revenue. But then with your funnel math, what you'll find, like you've basically given me benchmarks. Meta, $20 a lead, 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 converts, and they're worth $1,000. But then I measure what actually occurs. And I don't overcorrect initially, but once I've got enough customers in the door, I look at them versus the benchmark of, I have my women pickleball players, my men pickleball players, my women CrossFit and my men CrossFit. And I look and see, okay, which ones are performing above the benchmark? I want to spend more there, because I've already worked out my bare minimum benchmark that I want. But where I'm beating the average, that's where I pour my budget in. Because if I'm getting $3,000 or converting one more customer a week because of the CrossFit, I want to make sure to be spending more there, because I'll just be doubling the amount of customers I get from my paid. That, in essence, is how you use the data. You move it around based on where you're beating the benchmarks, and where you're not beating the benchmarks, we'll talk to in a minute, but I'll pause there and see if I'm all tracking right now.
Tracking great. I mean, I like your specifics on, the demographic. Yeah, keep going. This is great.
Okay, so now that I've got that, so I've got, you gave me the benchmark data. I ran and I think that's what a chiropractor should do. Just pick the two most popular. Don't start trying to solve 20 problems at once. Just do one or two. We'll stick with CrossFit and pickleball because I know those happen. All my friends, they just all of a sudden drop off the text thread. Oh, I can't play for the next month. I hurt my Achilles or whatever. Something's always happening with all of us, and we're always like desperate to get back out there. Yeah. So you've got your male, female, either two pain points. So the ones that are doing better than average, you got to move budget there and spend more. And you're always taking that the longer term mindset, not okay, they got to come in first visit, I got to double my money on them, but a short term time frame of 3 months. And then as the 3 months go by, I've got my measurements, and then I have to diagnose the ones that didn't work. So it could be, let's just say the female pickleball player didn't work. Then you got to experiment there, because you still know that they're dropping like flies and need help. So it's not that, oh, I guess no one from pickleball is getting injured that's over 50 and female. It's that your ad isn't working. So you need to experiment with new creatives and new hooks. Now you can just use ChatGPT AI for this. I don't know if you go into ChatGPT and say, I'm a chiropractor. I'm targeting women over 50 that injure either their calves or their elbows. Give me some ad hook ideas. And there'll be 10 good ones, probably. Or when you read them, you'd be like, oh, just change one or two words. It's not like it's going to be like a 3-week market research project. It's going to take you like 5 minutes to get them in ChatGPT. And then you just test the other ones. And so then the breakdown of the funnel is the ad should generate clicks. So you look at click percentage, and are you getting more or less clicks than you normally get? Because when you test a new creative and a new hook, is it getting more clicks? That's the job of the ad. The job of the ad isn't to sell them, it's to get the clicks. Then wherever they go with the click, when they got a book with you, that's the job, is to capture the emails. So then you analyze those by, is it capturing more or less emails than usual? And you basically run 2 versions of the page at once. Here's my one version with one angle, and here's my other version where the sign-up box is at top and it's shorter. One has a video and one doesn't. It doesn't have to be meticulously everything you analyze. It's like big changes. One is a video, one doesn't. One is more dramatic, one is more balanced, or doctorial tone. Yeah. And then when you get to the capture, the appointment, then you look at how many return rates come, and that could be a function of the doctor, or it could be the type of injury you target. I'm supposed to get $1,000, but I'm only getting 300 here. What's happening is it the treatment? I'm targeting an injury that actually isn't worth $1,000. I fix it too fast. That's fine for me as a doctor, but it's not fine for my paid advertising. So I got to switch to the longer term care. So those are how I'd break down chiropractor.
Yeah. Now we slide into your world of analyzing this stuff, and you kind of you tipped in it because your brain is there. That conversation is not the typical conversation I have with most chiros or digital agencies, because they're looking at the ROI and they talk about the 1,000 all you need is 2 patients. We'll spend $2,000 a month, and you just need 2 patients. And they don't get that, because I'm like, well, no, I have to work with that patient for 3 months to get my $1,000, or 2 months to get my $1,000. So first, they didn't get that. Second, you came back and said, if you're too good or getting results too fast, you're not going to get your $1,000 case value average from that. You're going to get 300. So you can just see where your mind is on this. And that's why we got to keep letting you talk more and me less. For the next thing now, analyzing this stuff and getting it in there. I know my listeners understand they make $500,000 a year in gross revenue. Their budget is $50,000 a year in marketing, because they know the 8 to 10% rule. That's $4,000 a month to spend. Now we get to play with this. If they can do it yourself like I do, I'd get my $4,000 and I can go ahead and put that all into marketing. If I don't, I need to hire Scott or Enrico to help me out to do this. There's a fee for that, whatever it is. Let's say 2. It leaves me with $2,000 in ad spend. What am I doing with that $2,000 to go forward? Do I dive all into Meta and try and test that for a few months to see what type of a result I get? Or do I just start throwing seeds all over the yard, hoping something grows?
So there's a couple things you'd want. first you'd want to dial in your email campaigns, assuming you're capturing emails, because a lot of your customers, past customers, you might have other services you can cross-sell them. So getting email and SMS set up so that people show up for their appointments, but also then you stay on their radar with all the different other things you're doing. Like if you're offering massage or acupuncture or PT is huge probably. Or if you got a gym as well, your other services, you want to stay on the radar and email at least probably once a week. So you need someone to write that email, or you have AI write it for you really fast. Give it a topic. Doesn't have to be Nobel Peace Prize literature. You just want to stay on the radar, or maybe do an offer. Hey, repeat customer, $10 off if they come in for a red laser treatment today. So whatever it is, you can get more revenue from your existing customers a lot easier. So I first set up returning customer systems, meaning email and SMS. Get campaigns going that are automated. So when those are going to be running on autopilot for you, or before autopilot, at least there's someone writing one email a week, the offer of the week, whatever it is. Because you could just snare one or two more visits, maybe more, just from sending an email.
From your current base. Yeah. Internal marketing, we call that. So you do the internal stuff, and then we want to focus on the external stuff to try and acquire new customers to our business. So when we're looking at the data there, so we've done it, we've created the machine, we have a pickleball thing going, we have a knee pain thing going, we get our stats back. What are we looking for on a return? If we're spending, let's say, $2,000 a month on Meta, and we run these campaigns for a few months, what should we be looking at from a marketing perspective on a return on that?
Well, there's no one perfect benchmark. It's by industry, but also it's relative to yourself. So when you first start, you're going to probably be below your benchmarks because or there's a super right market and you're going to be above your benchmarks because no one's doing it. But you basically need to try to beat yourself every month. The scoreboard is yourself, not an industry standard, because your region and you may have more or less competition than most people, or your geography may be more or less into chiropractic, you're willing to do it. So it's a scoreboard against yourself that you need to create. But then with $2,000, you need to pick probably one channel because it's a lot to do too. And it could be that Google keywords are a better choice than Meta because those people are more pressingly looking for a solution. The challenge there is that the cost for clicks are going to be a lot higher, most likely. So again, it's the conversion math. So are you going to get, because you're probably not going to get a one click, one sale in keywords, you got to refine your message. Now, one mistake I see is people will, for keywords, all the different keywords, they'll just throw it at the chiropractor homepage. You got to put it specifically to that page related to the cure or whatever pain point it is. So if it's pickleball, keep with that one. Then whatever injuries they're Googling that means, oh, I might have hurt pickleball, hurt myself, whatever. Those keywords need to go to we have the pickleball solution. Or if it's knee pain, it's got to go to your knee pain page on your website. And if you don't have one, you shouldn't launch it. You should just create that one new page and worry about one new keyword cluster. Meaning like everything around knee pain that's within 50 miles of Milwaukee, if you're the Milwaukee chiropractor, 25 miles, and just be like, I want to see if I can get new customers that are hurting, that have knee pain and are looking for someone in Milwaukee. So you could go that most competitive route. It's the most competitive, but it's also the most likely to generate clicks. So that one, and then the additional one is to get your Google My Business site listing. You want to get that as up to date as you can, because Google, particularly on Google Near Me's, it shows the local ones. So the more beefed up your Google Near Me, Google Business, which is a free thing, the more beefed up it is, the higher it shows in results. So how do you get that beefed up? You get people to put reviews on, you get your old customers to put reviews on your Google My Business account, and then it ranks them, usually reviews descending. So that's a lot of free traffic you can get as well, which is something that it's a must. People are gonna, they're gonna prowl around a little. Reviews are critical.
Absolutely critical. You nailed a home run here. I think they're on it. If they listen to my podcast for the last few years, they're on their Google My Business. They have this, but the listeners out there right now, how many of you have a conditions tab on your website listing as many possible conditions as possible. I mean, you should be building this like your blog section, and then your blog should be talking about those conditions and how you resolve those. No one reads the blogs, but the SEO does, Google does. And same thing with the condition thing. And then when you're doing your Google AdWords, it's going to ask you for a landing page or where you're going to send these people to. It's going to be to your knee pain page, your tendonitis page, your plantar fasciitis page, your sciatica page. You need to have this stuff there. So think about that. And then many of you are missing that whole thing. And your website guy can do this for you. The website team can do this for you. They create a one-tab drop-down with all the conditions listed in there. Those are going to have specific landing pages to them or landing sites that you're going to use in your Google links. And that's going to help you convert a little bit better. So that was great. That was a good thing there. That's the next level thing as well there. So that's great. From the back end, now we're getting into Google a little bit. Where do you find, so the Google My Business, you can even put conditions on there. I just recently figured that out like 6-7 months ago, where you, on your maps page on the bottom, they can scroll through images of conditions. And that's great too. We've had people look at that and scroll through that as well on the Google My Business page. Another question I have for you, ChatGPT, you brought that up. Now, where are we going with AI and voice search? And how do we even get into this realm and play that game? I've had one, and he was in his 20s. This was about a month ago. He's like, I went to ChatGPT and found you. I'm like, how did you even find me on ChatGPT? He was just asking on how to resolve a condition. And then his next question is, who's the closest specialist near me that could do this? And a few of us popped up, but we actually ranked in there on the Google Maps. So ChatGPT pool. But anyways, we're moving towards AI. And for me, what that means is when I'm driving in my car, I can have a full-on conversation with my car. And we can talk back and forth. That's where AI is going. Siri's been with us for a long time. Alexa's been with us for a long time. They're just becoming better at having conversational responses with humans. So when I'm driving, I'm like, hey, CarPlay, I have back pain. It's been bothering me for a while. Who are the best people to deal with in the area to help resolve this issue? They're going to have feedback. How do we play that game? How do we even get into that?
So ChatGPT is still somewhat of a black box. However, it trained itself on the entire web, and 5% of it came from Reddit, of all places.
Wow.
So if you answer, the way to get listed then is you have your own Reddit profile. You can post things there, and then you can answer questions there and put links to your practice. And then ChatGPT mines Reddit that's 5% of it. Now, ChatGPT also mines YouTube and the whole web. So the more places you are, the more likely it is to cite you. We get inbounds from Wicked Reports, say ChatGPT. There's no one precise thing we can do except for just keep getting exposure. They're going to have an ad platform next year. So then that'll be a whole another place to place ads. It'll be ChatGPT platform. But for now, it's just black box, unfortunately.
Yeah. But that's the Reddit thing. Hey, that was huge for the listeners right there. So create a profile, business profile, brand it as your business, and go in and answer questions on Reddit for people in your local area. You'll have like a Milwaukee page or a Tampa page. And I've actually seen it, and I've actually been in those and answered questions for people, pediatric questions, or, hey, have you thought about seeing a chiropractor? And it's got our logo on the top. Interesting. That's cool. Never thought about actually leveraging Reddit a little bit. I knew about YouTube and Google because they're Google. Mm-hmm. Great. What else you got? This is it. We're good. I am more than happy with this podcast. Listeners are too. Yeah. All
right. Well, I'm glad I could help then. I'm going to send this to my chiropractor friends in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin.
Oh, awesome. So with Wicked Reports, if anyone has any deeper questions and they listen to this podcast and they're like, man, Scott knows his stuff, how do they reach out to you and maybe contact you or maybe even work with you in one way, shape, or form?
Sure. Wickedreports.com has our marketing attribution platform. You want to be spending at least $5,000 a month to be on that. The 5forces.com, I have a course in data analysis and attribution for those that are really into it. And I'm available on LinkedIn. I got a unique last name. You can find me there also.
Absolutely. That's great. And I would highly recommend you do. I mean, this is what he does. Thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate it. This was tons of great information. And just get people to reach out to you.
Sounds great. Thanks, Enrico. You take care.
Yeah. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, and leave a rating. It helps get our podcast out to more listeners. Also, join Marketing 101 for Chiropractors on Facebook or visit us at enricod.com for more information on growing and scaling your business.